Hey guys, my name is Gabor and today we are going to design a homepage for an airline and the full booking flow in Figma. This is part 1 of the course, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notified of part 2 of this course. I have included the colors, pictures and icons for this tutorial, so make sure you download it. The link is in the description. So let's dive in. First, let's create a frame. We can simply hit A and choose desktop, and we are going to use 1440. Let's make this bigger. And for the grid, let's select columns. Let's set this to 12. This to center. The width is 80. And the gutter is 32. So as you can see, the colors are here, the icons, all the pictures. You can download the Google font. I'm using this Fig Tree Google font, which is free. But first of all, to speed things up, I like to define the global styles, at least the colors for now. So let's do that quickly. Let's see, this is the neon gradient. This one is simply neon. Let's make this white. This is gray. This one is dark blue. This one is light blue. Let's say this is light blue 2 and light blue 3. Okay, so now we have all the colors defined. So for example, if I create just a rectangle and go here, we can use these predefined colors, which is really cool and will help us speed up the flow. So first of all, let's create a header area, which is going to be this picture, but you can use whatever you want. I just really like this aurora and the landscape picture. I'm going to turn off the grid for now. And let's begin to design this hero section. For that, we need a logo. And I'm going to use this one. And on the right side, we obviously need a menu. So let's say home, flights, my trips, check in and contact. I'm going to put this one in auto layout. So first I group it, then I say auto layout, and then we can play with the paddings. Let's say I'm going to put this to 40 for now. And the size of the font is 18 pixels. That's good. We are in the home page, but first set the colors, which is white already, but I used the predefined colors that we did previously. And we are on the home page, so let's say this is bold and neon. I'm going to put this whole header menu area into auto layout. So I just select the menu and the logo and hit auto layout. Then I will define the paddings on the top and the bottom, which is going to be 40. Maybe that's a bit too much. Let's say 32. Then I'm going to stretch it until the end and set the spacing mode to from peg to space between. And the padding from left and right is 64. Let's see if that aligns with our grid. Okay, that's perfect. Let's put this on the top with this alignment. I'm gonna turn off the grid now. And the next thing, we want to create this hero area like a catchy headline. For example, experience the incredible aurora borealis, and set this to 72 pixels and this one 96. And place it, place it over here. Maybe I lower the line height to 80. That looks better. And now let's create a CTA button. Book now. And the font size is 18. The font weight is medium. And put this in auto layout. Set the line height first to 24. Let's put this to auto layout by grouping it first. And then auto layout, let's say 24 and 40. Going to create the background of this button, which is the already predefined neon gradient, and set the corner radius to 40. And set the font color to this dark. Maybe I will change the font weight to bold and this one to 20. Let's align that and put that set margin top to 24. And to make this hero area more interesting, I'm going to put the cost of the trip and some other texts and a review of a girl. So say this trip costs like 45 euros and from make this to regular and 12. Line height is 20 and the price is 48. The line height here is 56 and I'm going to create a little separator here. And some more text, for example, fly to Norway today. Let's make this 15. And set the text align to center. Let's select all of them by clicking on the fields, the text fields, and hold Shift and align to center. The padding can be 4 or 2 or even none. It depends on your taste. And going to make like a little button here with a chevron. So make this chevron super fast. Make the stroke width to 2 pixels and set the edges to round. Maybe it's a bit too big, so I'm going to make it a bit smaller. Let's group it and align with the rest of the text. Okay. And obviously we need the background for this because now it's not that readable. So create a rectangle. Set the background color this dark. I'm going to put it behind our texts and elements and make the corner radius to 12 or 8. It also depends on your taste. And I'm going to detach this color because I want to add background blur, and I believe so this is the only way you can do it. So set the background blur, set the fill to 80% or 70%, and set the background blur to 24. Okay, select all the elements with the background, align it again, and let's see how far is from the top. Make it 24. This is 29 here. Okay, and group all of them together. And for this little stroke, I'm going to modify the opacity to 40 because it was a bit too strong for my taste. Let's create another one, which is like a mini review. Delete these elements, get one of the pictures, which is this one that I use, and create ellipse and set it to let's say 56. Align it to the center and move this picture over the ellipse. Select both of them and mask it. Then we can play a little bit to align the face better. And I'm going to create another ellipse, which is like a 20. The background is our neon gradient, and I'm going to put this little like icon inside. Let's make this ellipse a bit bigger. Even this picture, say 46. Okay, let's move down a little bit and say something like best experience of my life. And put the name of the girl, which I'm just making it up. It's going to be Anna Henderson. And set the font size to 12 and make the color to gray. Let's move these things to the group and name the layer testimonial, and this one say price. And to make it a bit more interesting, I'm going to rotate this by 15% and this one as well. Just going to place it somewhere here, and I want to add something more here, like a text on a circle, which is visit Norway today. Not Norway, Norway. Going to set the letter spacing a bit higher, say 15 or 20. And copy the whole text. And I'm going to use a plugin, which is this one called Arch. And it can make a nice circle for us. Let's see if it works. Okay, not really. Okay, it works now. Set the section color to white. Delete this one. We can rotate this by 15 as well. Maybe resize it because it's a bit too big. And set the opacity to 40. That's too much. Let's set to 70. And bring these layers to the front. So this little batch kind of things just make it more interesting. So obviously for a booking flow, we need some kind of search widget. So now I am going to design the input fields. And let's say we are obviously leaving from somewhere. Set the size to 14 and let's say we are leaving from Lisbon, where I live. Let's set the font size to 18 pixels and the font width to bold. And the margin between them is 4. So now we are going to create a auto layout from this. So let's just group it with Ctrl G or Command G, and then hit auto layout. And let's set the top and the bottom margin to 8. And the left and right margin to 24 for now, but we will probably change it. And let's set the background this light blue and the corner radius to 8. Okay, the 24 for the left and right padding is too much, so let's set it to 16. And create another one. Sorry, let's set this label color to gray and this one to white. Let's duplicate it and say to Tromsø, which is in Norway. And we need another input field, which is the departure date. Type in depart. May 13, 2023. And return is in June 8, for example. We need one more input field. That is the number of passengers. So type passengers and, for example, 1 adult. I'm going to select all these input fields. I'm going to group it and put it to auto layout. Then I set the spacing between items to 32 and the top and bottom margin could be 32 as well. I'm going to stretch the whole auto layout to the edges of the frame and say space between. And since all these input fields are set to fixed width, we need to change that. So select all of them and say fill container. Now we are going to set the left and right padding just how we did for the menu. That is going to be 64, sorry. And maybe these two we can actually group together. So let's group it, auto layout, and select the spacing between to 0, and the background and the corner radius to 8. I am also going to do the same effect, make the same effect like we did on these cards. So let's fill with this dark blue, detach it, and create a background blur effect. Let's say 32, and set the fill to 80 or 50. Maybe this is too much blur, so I'm going to set it back to 24. Okay, now that it's done, I'm going to move it down, and then we can start designing the rest of the page. First of all, I'm going to set the background color to our dark. So we are already looking pretty good, I guess. For this part, I'm going to display, or I want to display some destinations or popular destinations that the user can just click on it and visit the sub page of that destination. So let's do that. First of all, we are going to create a title or a headline here. For example, discover popular destinations. And the size of this title, I'm going to set to 32. Place it here. 56 is okay. You can make it further away if you want, but I am good with 56 for now. And I also want to create some kind of tabs or tags here that you can choose from, and it's going to list the popular destinations if in that area. And the font size for this is 15. Now I'm going to put into auto layout, pressing Command G, and then auto layout. And the paddings are 16 left and right, and 8 top and bottom. The fill is going to be neon gradient. The font color is our dark blue, and the corner radius is 4. Let's put it from 32 pixels from the title and create more. Like, for example, this is the selected one. Let's create a default set this to white and say United States. Europe. Asia. Africa. South America. And Canada. Select all of them. Group them and set auto layout and make it maybe 24 pixels from each other. So the spacing between these items is 24 pixels. And this is a bit too white, the text, so I'm going to change it to gray. We also want to create like a selector here that is going to be some text where I am flying from. So I am flying from. Make this 16 and make it gray and say that I am flying from Lisbon, Portugal. The font size is 24. The color is white. Lisbon is bold and Portugal is regular. And let's make a chevron fast and make the color this neon one. Place it 12 pixels from the chevron and align it with the rest. And let's check our grid. We can group this selector. And place it on the edge of our grid. And now we can begin to design the destination cards. And those are here already. We just need to set the right size for them. Let's start with this one. And but we are just going to create a frame. Going to put the destination, Penida Island, and set the font size to 28 and set the font black for now. Going to design super fast a little pin. Just going to create an ellipse. Edit the path. Pull it to the bottom. Create another ellipse. And subtract from the main one. And the name of this country is Indonesia. Let's set this to 15 pixels and regular. And say this flight ticket is from 450 euros. Now I am going to put this in an auto layout. The space between the pin and the country name is 8. I'm selecting the price and set to bold, and select both of these items and put it to auto layout as well, and say it's not packed, it's space between. Now we can select all the items of the destination card and put it to an auto layout. Make it taller and say that the content inside of the auto layout is on the bottom left. And the paddings are 24 and 24. And the fill is not a solid, is going to be an image. That is here. Now we are going to set the text to white, all of the text, but obviously it's not visible, so I'm going to create on top of the fill another fill, which is a linear, and I'm going to reverse this and say the opacity of this linear is 80% or even 90%. One more thing is for this destination card to set the radius to 8. And now we can even create a component from this. duplicate it, select the fill and change it to another picture. That is going to be this one from Turkey. And the name of this location is Cappadocia, I guess. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. Let's rename this to Turkey. And the price maybe 375. Duplicate again. For now you don't need to worry about the spacing or the padding, because we are going to put all the destinations cards in an auto layout, and we are going to do the same thing like we did in the form widget or the header widget. So now we duplicated this card, set the background to this beautiful image of Patagonia and rename it. And Patagonia is in Chile. Let's say from Lisbon this is going to be more expensive, so 1,600. Duplicate it again. Select another image. That is this one. Lofoten Islands, Norway. And from Lisbon, make it 240. Select all the cards now, put it to auto layout. Stretch this auto layout frame to the edge of the artboard and set the right and the left padding to 46, just we previously did on these ones, and select all the frames, cards inside, and say fill container, and that's going to fix all the spacing and the width of the cards so they are equal now. And going to place it 40 pixels from this tab selector. And now that we have the destination cards, the destination selectors, we can move on and create, for example, like a blog area. So make it like read the blog, fig tree, bold and 32. And I'm going to place this icon here. Select both of them, align them to the middle, and create auto layout. The space between them can be 12 or 16, is however you prefer. And align them to the rest. I'm just going to stretch the artboard a bit. Let's Make sure all the elements, constraints are on the top and left. So when we are resizing the artboard, nothing is going to stretch. So select this and just make this bigger so we have more space here. Read the blog. We need some pictures, which is this one and this one. Let's turn on our grid and set this to 304 and the height of it, no, sorry, it was a mistake. Set this to 192 and the height is going to be 170. Also give this corner radius 12. Make the same with this image. Which is an image from Madeira. The height is 170. The corner radius is 12. And let's put some text here. The magical Dolomites. Let's set the font size to 24. Align to the grid. And for the description, I'm just going to use some lorem ipsum. And the font is 16 pixel. Line spacing is 24. Let's make this to only 3 rows. The padding, the margin from the top is 8 pixels. And make a link. Set the color to this neon and make it bold. And this is too wide, so I'm going to change that. And the margin between these is 8 as well. If you want, we can put this in auto layout. Now I'm not going to, just going to duplicate this and say Mystic Forest of Madeira. So to make this area a bit more interesting, I want to break this layout a bit more. So I'm going to use an image with this girl and going to create an ellipse and put it behind her so it's going to stand out more. Set the ellipse background to the neon gradient, send to the back. Let's just check, because I want to make this ellipse as same as this grid. So put it like this. And let's say this is a podcast, like a highlighted podcast. We will put more podcast here, but to here we are just going to put a highlighted one with like a mini player. So let's start designing that. Going to create a rectangle with a 12 radius with the background fill of dark blue, and let's add an effect with the background blur, set to 24, detach this color, this style, and set to 80. Maybe we are going to change that later, I'm not sure yet. And let's say this is a travel podcast, and the font size is 24, bold, that's totally fine. And make another text layer and say this is episode 13. Episode 13. And set this to 15 pixels, regular, and this gray color. Also the travel podcast title, set to white. And for this area, I'm going to create like a mini player with some sound waves. But first of all, let's turn off this grid. And create a play button first, which is an ellipse with 40 pixels. The background is our neon gradient. And let's design the play button, which is very simple. Just select the polygon, draw a 24 pixel wide one, rotate it to the right, set the color to dark blue, and set the radius to 2. Okay, for the sound waves, I'm going to use auto layout as well. Going to draw another rectangle with a width of 4 pixels and the corner radius of 8. Set the color to white and set 4 pixels from each other and just duplicate it. You can hit Ctrl D or Command D and just duplicate. Now select all of them and put it to auto layout. And I want to align the content inside in the middle. And the first one is going to be smaller. This one is a bit bigger. Okay, it's not working for some reason. Okay, let's make this bigger. This one smaller, duplicate it again. Let's make it a bit bigger. Like 22 or 26. Duplicate again to 34. Duplicate again and set to 42. And these ones to 20. Sixteen, 12, 8. This one again is a bit bigger. This one as well. And just continue until you are satisfied with the shape. And maybe duplicate this whole thing again, so we save some time. We obviously don't need all of them. So let's say this is enough for now. Maybe set the line spacing to 8. No, that's too much. Let's set to 5. And put a little speaker icon here. This is too big. 48 is too big, so let's make it to 24. And now we can align the edges. Going to say that this is the top padding is 16 and the left is 24, which is 25 now. So let's make this 24. This one 24 as well. This one is okay. So 16 and 24. And let's delete these two. A bit more. So we have this podcast, like highlighted podcast block. I'm just going to move the lady a bit more up. And to the right side, we are going to create more podcasts. Let's turn on our grid and get the rectangle as usual. And set the background to light blue too. And get these images. So the width of these images is 86 by 86. And the corner radius is 8. The background corner radius is 12. And the padding between them, the padding is 12. So we just move this a bit up and say this is best surf spots of Portugal. The size of the font is 18 and from the picture can be 16 and say this is season 2 episode 3. The font size is 16 and regular, and the color is gray. Season 2 episode 3. The margin top from the title is 8. Select both of them and put it to the middle and draw another play icon, or just copy this one, it's much easier. Set this 24 from the left and 43 from top and bottom, and apply the neon gradient. Now we have this little widget created, so let's group it. Podcast widget and make a component. Duplicate it and change the image. And this is a bit too small, I want to see the face closer. So I'm going to say crop and grab the edges here, hold and shift and alt, shift and alt in the same time, and just scale it a bit bigger. Okay, that's good. And rename the title to Dia de Huertos in Mexico. And it's season 5, episode 12. Duplicate it again. Change the image. That now is going to be this beautiful windmill, which is surprisingly not in the Netherlands. This image is from Source Korea, which is very interesting. It's really, really nice. So I'm going to use this image. But it's too big, so I'm going to shrink it down a little bit and pull it down. Okay, great. And rename it the Rural South Korea. And let's say this is season 3, episode 24. Turn off our grid and move the last one, align with the Mystic Forest of Madeira, and select all of them and say tidy up. It's going to be equal the space between these elements. And we need a title here as well. Listen the podcast or something. I'm going with that one. Listen podcasts. And going to change the icon to the speaker one. I'm just going to grab it here. And then if you grab it and hold and just place it into the auto layout, it automatically puts inside. So we can delete the first one. That way we kept our line spacing and everything in place. So now we have to read the blog and listen to the podcast area. We can continue to the next section. That is going to be a map, which is in the Figma file. I'm going to make our artboard a bit bigger again and place this map over here. Obviously this color is too bright, so I'm going to change to this one. Or even a bit lighter, and detach this color because I want to use like a linear gradient now, so like South America is not that visible. Not that I don't like it, it's just we don't want to interfere with the next section, so I'm just leave it like this for now. And let's place some pins here, because in this section I want to create some traveler reviews. And the title for this one can be "See What Travelers Says About Us." And the title is 32 and bold, fig tree. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to use this pin icon to place it on the maps in random places. Just going to lock this layer so it's not flashing to our eyes. So I'm just going to create a few of these pins. And create a rectangle again. Get a user picture here like a portrait. And I want to put it in a circle. That we can do it like this. If you create a circle and put it over the top, select both of them and just mask it, or I believe we can do this like set this to the size of 72 by 72 and set the corner radius to 72, which is creating the same effect. Maybe I'm going to resize so the girl's face is more visible. I'm setting from fill to crop and holding down the shift, I'm resizing the image. Okay, maybe this is too much. We don't need this one. And this is 72 by 72. The padding is going to be 32. 32. And here I could use the same effect as here, but that is not going to be that visible, but we can check it. So we can copy the properties, select our rectangle and paste the properties. Yeah, it's doing nothing. So we just keep the background blur and change the fill to neon gradient, detach it and set it to 20 or even 10, maybe even less. And just simply write a user review here with an 18 pixel medium, and let's say balloon is the best website I have ever visited. It's very useful and fun, for example. Going to put these to 2 rows, and the margin from here is 24, and let's create a name for this girl. For example, Jill Winehouse. Why not? From the US. And the font size is 14. The color is gray. Align with the picture. Set this one to white. Maybe put in between quotes. And under it, I'm going to create a little stepper. So let's create an eclipse. set to 8 pixels, duplicate it a few times, and set all of these colors to light blue 3, and select the middle one and set to the neon color. We can put it to auto layout and name it to stepper and put it in the middle and 24 pixels. Let's align this little widget that we created. Testimonial widget, the grid, and this can be like 8 pixels from this one. Okay, now we can turn off the grid. And what's left is a bit of a text, like some more informations about the airlines, why is it so good. And for that we have three icons here that we can grab. We just need this one for now, and set the white to the neon gradient and say something like our airline flies greener. And set it from 24 pixels from image, and put this lorem ipsum here for now. And we're gonna put the icon and the title in an auto layout, make it in the middle, and do the same with the text and the top elements. Now all of these items in an auto layout, so we can create some paddings and create a stroke of this color, or this one, yeah, this one, and set it to 3 and change the corner radius to 12. We are going to set the text inside of this auto layout to fill the container, and just simply duplicate it and say 120 destinations worldwide, and change the icon here by dragging this one and put it inside here, and delete this one. Select the icon and change this color to the neon gradient. Duplicate this again and say we are using AI to get you better or something like we're using AI to get better. And change the icon inside by dragging this one, putting it here, deleting this one, changing the color to neon, select all of them. You can change the global styles. And put all of them in auto layout. Stretch this auto layout to the edge of our frame. And set the inside auto layout elements and say fill. Select the main auto layout and say the padding from left and right is 64. Now we have this area created as well. So the last part is the footer. We are creating a rectangle. Setting the background to dark blue, or actually even darker, and just put some additional informations in the footer. Of course, we need the logo first. Let's put this here. Say something about the company, like about us, careers, privacy and policy, terms and conditions. Sorry, this is just privacy policy. And set this to regular, this one to white, the color of this one to gray, and the size is 18. Duplicate it, say destinations, United States, Canada, South America, Europe, Asia. Duplicate it again and type in support before you book at the airport. On the flight, lost property. Let's say these three and create one more is let's get social, and we are going to put social icons here. that is also included. Just drag it and put it to auto layout and change the orientation, the direction to horizontal, and put 24. And let's group this one and create auto layout, because we are going to put all of this to auto layout. So select all the elements, group them together and say auto layout. Set the spacing mode to space between. And stretch this until the edge of the frame and say our left and right padding is as it was before all the other elements is 64. And the top and bottom margin is 120. And let's move this and say this is 120 from that last section. And now we are basically done. I'm just going to select all of the elements and make sure the constraints are on top and left. Select the artboard and bring up the bottom of the artboard. And I just noticed that I pretty much forget search button here, that we have actually here the icon for it. We just need to place it inside. So the height of this one is 59. So I'm going to put this in an auto layout. No, not like this. Maybe create a component first and then auto layout. I'm not sure this is going to work. No. So I just draw a rectangle which is 59 by 59. Place this inside. Set the background color to neon gradient. Align them to the middle. Set the corner radius to 56 and the color to dark. Group this and say search button. And I am going to just move it inside here. And because of the auto layout is correctly set, it's going to go into the right place and stretch the input field as well. So that's it. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and please subscribe to the channel, because this was just part 1. This is a whole booking flow of an airline website. So obviously there are going to be more screens, like selecting the date, selecting the tickets, selecting seats or bags, or creating filling out passenger informations and the summary and payment page. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. Thank you. Bye bye.